I've created a stereo track here comprising of the mixed two guitar tracks, the original dry version and the Melodyne tuned processed version. With these tutorials playing back in mono, I won't play you the file because as a stereo effect you simply won't be able to appreciate it. However, if you download the work files folder provided, you can not only hear all the files, you can remix the finished song and forward it to me. I would love to hear it and will post it on my website. The focus of this tutorial, processing audio, not only applies to this guitar track, but to all audio tracks where you feel it necessary. First, I'll double-click the file to open up the sample editor. I want to clean up the file so as to make it a more spacious mix once finished, and a more spacious mix allows for a more powerful and louder mastered song. So I'll highlight this last nearly silent section and delete it. Then I'll create a more natural sounding fade that will disappear to silence at the end of the bar. This last note is the note A and needs to be silent by the time it reaches the end of the A major chord at the start of each verse, before it progresses to C sharp minor, where the A note will make this second chord, the C sharp minor, discordant if allowed to sustain into it. I'll highlight the note's tail. I'll go to Audio and Fade Out. Now I'll choose a fade type from here. Now I'll process it. And my fade is now applied to create a more natural fade to the sustained A note. Now, I noticed during playback this stereo guitar file was rendered a little loud, so I'll go to Audio again, then this time to Normalize. Normalizing a track makes the loudest peak in the file the sonic focal point and is locked at 0 decibels. In this file, normalizing will slightly reduce the overall file level. In most cases, you'll want to use the normalize function to increase an audio track that was made too quiet at the recording stage. So I'll click Process to normalize the file and click to close the sample editor. Now it's interesting to remember that Cubase only processes the files with the sample editor. It doesn't commit any processes you make unless you render to a new file. This allows you to use the history function to undo any changes you make without any problems occurring. To illustrate this, I'll open this file in another Steinberg program, Wavelab 6. This program is like Cubase's sample editor but on steroids. It's much more powerful. So here's the file we just processed in Cubase but clearly remains unaffected on my hard drive. Notice the tail I deleted is intact, as is the last note fade. Back to Cubase, I'll make this stereo guitar track sit better in the mix by applying a little compression. So I'll go to Audio, Plugins, Steinberg, Dynamics, Compressor. I'll process the audio track and then listen back to the results. I'll choose a preset as my starting point by clicking and making my choice. I'll choose Picking Guitar 1, then click Process. If you want more control over your compressor settings, integrate the effect as an insert. This allows you to run the compressor live as the track plays. So I'll undo my processed compression just done. Then I'll go to Insert, Steinberg, VST Dynamics to open this interface. Again, for the sake of alacrity, I'll choose a preset. I'll go for Guitar Compressor. Now, to hear it in real time, I'll click play on my transport bar. Notice the real-time display of a compressor's many functions that you can adjust to suit your mix better. So to recap, Cubase has loads of effects that you can use to make your track sit better in the mix, and it is well worthwhile going through it and adjusting as necessary because it will make your resulting mix a much clearer, cleaner, more powerful song.